So I was going through the Steam store just glancing over the free-to-play games one day. A few of them I've already played, and I was just kind of browsing when one caught my eye. It was called Super Crate Box, and according to the description, the whole point was to fight hordes of enemies and go for a high score. Sounding interesting, I downloaded it. I must say, I wasn't disappointed. First off, there's only 3 stages. That may not seem like a lot, but remember, this is a free-to-play game, and from what I've noticed, a fairly new one at that, so I'm assuming there will be more added on later. Regardless, these 3 stages are similarly designed, and it doesn't take long to unlock the second and third, as you only start out with one. There's several modes you can choose from. I've only unlocked the SFT, which I have no idea what it stands for. All I know is that the enemies spawn double, so it gets increasingly difficult. I also noticed that there's an ambush mode, but I haven't unlocked it, and I'm struggling too much, so I probably won't unlock it at all. Once you pick a stage, you start. You do get a brief tutorial in the beginning first. Basically, you run around shooting at the 3 different types of enemies, and while doing this, collect crates. You score 1 point for every crate you grab. That's the only way of scoring. Also, these crates contain weapons. In the beginning of the game, you only get a handful, but after collecting so many cumulative crates, you unlock more. These range from shotguns, pistols, machine guns, revolvers, grenade launchers, mines, and even katana. Of course, each has their strengths and weaknesses, but there are times you may want to opt to stay with a more powerful gun until the screen is clear a bit. There's always a crate on the screen, and once you collect that one, another one will appear elsewhere. This will continue until you get hit. The crates won't disappear until you grab them. Simple gameplay, is it not? You can also unlock more characters by clearing high score checkpoints. There's not an advantage to using one character over another, but it does help to make sure the game doesn't look the same each time you play it. Again, the game has a simplistic design, but don't let that fool you. It almost feels like an Atari game, as you'll really be scrambling to beat your old score. When you get a low one, you may rage and try again. At least, it happened to me all the time. This is just one of those games where you just don't want to stop playing it. The graphics of the game are the classic old-school 8-bit look. They're simple, but they do the job. I especially like the effects of the flamethrower, which just starts billowing flames all over the place. Another thing that's a throwback to older games is the music and sounds. Once again, they're simplistic, but that doesn't mean they're bad. The music will get in your head. However, just because it's catchy doesn't mean that it gets old. With only 3 stages, and each stage having a different song, I caught myself using Pandora as I played the game more. There's also some pretty good humor in the game, mainly in the way it presents the unlocks. When you unlock weapons, it'll give you a small, funny description about them. For the disc gun, for example, it tells you, "We hereby sincerely apologize." I know I was scratching my head when I saw that, while I was kind of chuckling. It's not until you fire it that you see it ricochets, which is pretty sweet. Then you just might notice that it chopped you in 2. The explanation for the revolver went something along the lines of, just like the pistol, except not useless. These little bits make you smile a bit, and it's another reason why you want to keep unlocking stuff, as you just want to see what they're going to come up with next. You also may have noticed that some enemies are red. Let me explain that. Again, your goal is to collect as many crates as possible. The monsters do get in your way though. You see that pit of fire at the bottom of the screen? If an enemy drops in there, it goes into anger mode. And when it respawns at the top, its red color moves much faster, making it harder to dodge them. Naturally, if anything, you want to take these guys out the quickest. This is when the mines are very helpful. If you plant them near the bottom, it'll be almost like a safety net for a short time of no red enemies. There are high score tables, but unfortunately I couldn't get mine to work because it says missing DLL file. I wasn't too concerned, but the option's there. You can also see your own personal stats as well. These vary from amounts of times and ways killed to the monsters you've destroyed, along with the amounts of crates you've collected. You can also reset your profile as well, just in case you want to start over. Well, that's all I got for this one. I know, it's a bit on the short side, but so is the game, so there's no need to draw it out. Would I recommend this to you? Absolutely, because, after all, it's free. And it's not one of those, so this is why this game's free. It sucks! Now, this is a free game that's worth checking out. Final score? 8 out of 10. Now, keep in mind, this may seem a little generous, but it's free. If you had to pay to play this game, it'd be much lower, because the content just isn't there. This is Reaper. Happy fragging.